This is the video for Caesar's Gallic Wars, Book 5, Chapter 26. So this section, Diebus Caricature XV, there's a note on that which says within about 15 days during which, this whole thing, or about 15 days after which ventum est. This is another impersonal perfect passive. It was ventumed in Hiberna, into the Hiberna. The initium of, and then these are two genitives, repentini tumultus ac defectionis. And ortum est is from a deponent verb, so it looks passive, but it is active. Ortum ested. Ab, from, probably, or by, maybe. Ambiorix et catavulcus. Who, and I think, there's no note that tells me this, but I just think so. This is a since, this is a cum causal. Since, who, since, so we have a prepositional phrase, a genitive, probably, and then two datives, and then an adverb that means at hand. Oh, here's a verb. Who, since they had been praesto ad the fines, probably at the fines, of regni sui, for, because these are datives, Sabinus and Cota, and had comporta wisent fermentum into the Hiberna. So these are the two verbs of this cum clause. So since all that, and then this part is a little confusing because this word looks like it could be nominative plural, and so does this, and so does this. But since this is a person and this is an adjective describing this person, I'm going to say this isn't a nominative plural, and this is describing this person, so it's also not nominative plural. So I'm going to say these are genitives, but this, I think, probably is a nominative plural that matches up with this qui. So having been impulsed by the nuntiis of indutio maris the Treveri, this qui, which refers to Ambiorix and Catavulcus, concitaverunted suos, their men, and subito, with the lignatoribus having been oppressed, venerunt ad castra. Here we have a supine, accusative supine to express purpose, to opugnatum, with a magna manu. Okay. Now, this is definitely a cum causal, and the only reason I know that is because the note tells me. So, since celeriter nostri had capicented arma, and had ascendicented the vallum, and ex una parte, with Hispanis equitibus having been emiscist. There's also a note on this, so we can translate it that way as well. Blah, 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 blah. Here's a verb. Had been superiores. I think probably in the equestri proilio. This is an adjective describing proilio, so make sure we know the correct meaning of equestri. With the re having been desperatad, or with the re being desperata. The hostes, and although these two look like they just describe each other, they go together. This is actually nominative, and this is accusative, because we have a verb here that doesn't necessarily need a nominative plural, but could have a nominative plural, but it definitely needs an accusative, a direct object. So the hostes reduxerunted their suos ab oppugnatione, from the oppugnatione. Then, suo more, in suo more. This does not mean death, so make sure you know the meaning of that. They conclamaveranted, and this is going to introduce not only what I think either a purpose clause, the note says this to this colon is either a purpose clause or an indirect command. I think it's an indirect command, but we can talk about that. So it's going to introduce an indirect command, but also an indirect statement, which has not one, but two relative clauses in it. So anyway, they conclamaveranted uti aliqui, this is singular, someone ex nostris should proderet ad colloquium. And then this is sort of like what they want to talk about in that colloquium. That, so indirect statement starts, we translate it with the word that, even though there's no Latin word for it. That sese habere, quae, which probably means here what, or the things which, velunt dicere de, which means concerning or about, re communi. And then there's a note on quibus rebus, which means by means of which matters, sperarunt, that. So an indirect statement within an indirect statement, by means of which matters they sperarented, that controversias posse, and then minui is a present passive infinitive, so be minuid. That they hope that the controversias is posse be to be minuid or be minuid.